G'day, Brian Martin with you, and today I'm joined by Mark Gorski from the Melbourne Running Company, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat about choosing the right footwear for you. So Mark, thanks for having a chat with me today. One of the things that a lot of runners struggle with is the choice of choosing which shoe they're going to wear. Like, as you can see in your store here, there's a wealth of different choices available for people, different brands and different models. Just wondering if you can give us a little bit of insight into demystifying that and what it is that people should be worried about when they come into a store like yours.
Yeah, I think the main thing that people need to sort of think about when they come in is just keep it simple. Probably don't get too brand conscious. Just come in with a clean slate and say, right, I'm coming in. I've brought my old pair of shoes, or any other pair of shoes that you might have worn previously that have given you some issues. Bring them in. Any orthotics, anything else that you'd like to add into shoes. Hopefully it's not too much. Bring them in.
If they bring those in, what sort of thing? Do you have a bit of a look at the wear patterns? Or?
Absolutely, yeah. You can tell pretty quickly how people have worn their shoes. Especially if they've been running in them consistently. We usually just have a look at their wear patterns. We check out how they actually run on the treadmill, not so much their feet hitting the ground, but actually how they run in general, their whole body. There's a lot more to it than just your feet hitting the ground too. So I think keeping an open mind as far as your brand's concerned too, because don't be brand conscious, just get the shoe that actually fits you and suits your purpose.
So when someone comes in, you normally would have a bit of a look at them running, especially if they come along, wearing their running shorts and with a pair of shoes.
Absolutely. You can tell just someone's foot shape and the way they stand really doesn't give us a great indication of actually what they're doing when they're actually in motion and running. So, and walking and running are two completely different things. So you can't help but heel strike when you run, when you walk. Obviously, heel striking when you're running is sort of something we're not trying to sort of encourage too much. So there's a lot of differences. So running, getting people to run on the treadmill and actually analysing how they run and fitting the shoe for that is the way to go.
Sounds good. So there's a few times that I've gone and bought shoes, and some places have a pressure plate type system where they try and get you to walk across the plate and make some assessment about, I guess, A, your foot shape, and B, the way that you're impacting the ground. I guess what you're saying is perhaps that's not that important.
No, not really. I believe that the way you're actually running and the way you're striking the ground as you are in motion, it really is a completely different thing to the way you walk over something. So, so say if you're getting a shoe for walking, great, follow that model. If you want a shoe to run in, let's get on the treadmill. Actually, let's analyse how you run and get the shoe for that.
So for someone like me, obviously I've got a fairly, haven't shown that to the viewers yet, but I've got a fairly high arch type foot, and often people say, oh, okay, that means that your foot's really stiff and you need lots of cushioning and yada yada, and you end up walking out with a shoe that's this padded. So it's kind of something that's sort of pervaded, I suppose, in running industry for a while. And it's, I don't know whether you're getting the sense that that's starting, some of the shoe companies starting to shift away from that as being the mantra, and as you're saying, move more towards the way people are actually getting across the ground, as opposed to trying to predict what they're going to do just by looking at their foot.
You can't predict how someone is going to run and strike the ground by just their foot type. There's no real evidence to suggest that someone with a high arch is going to be neutral. It doesn't always work like that. So hence, get on the treadie, actually analyse how they run and get the foot for that.
And should people like running more than one shoe model?
I really encourage people to, especially if you're doing a lot of Ks, and sometimes people do run twice a day. So I actually encourage people to use two pairs of shoes at the same time, and different shoes. It really encourages your feet, your proprioception, or your lower legs to really not, get used to different stimuli. So it's like running on different surfaces as well. Mix it up, do a little bit on harder stuff and do a little bit on trails and stuff. And if it all happens in the same run, that's great. But it just means your feet and your body really get used to a variety of different stimuli.
Definitely. So I guess you might need to bring your wallet and allow for spending on a second pair when you're next going to buy a pair of shoes. Mark, thanks for giving us a bit of time today and sharing those thoughts with us. Obviously, it's a pretty complicated area, so appreciate you taking the time to
No
help us
worries.
out.
Easy
Thank you.
done.